Hello everyone, Dr. Casen and Dr. Bob coming to you from Westlake, and we are so excited to share with you how we can help to improve function naturally in your body without drugs, and some really easy things for you to consider for you and your family right now, especially as we go through the holidays, Dr. Bob. And a lot of people right now, they're saying how they want to get healthy, they want to lose weight, they want to do all these different things, and they just, maybe they're having difficulty navigating in what else is going on right now.
There's a lot going on in people's minds and lives. There's so much going on in the health realm. They're concerned about people having health issues. I know that their kids, older and aging parents, there are just so many plates that are up in the air. So we're here to give you that whole ounce of prevention, right?
Yes. So let's start. Number one, for us, we are chiropractors. So number one, we're working on your brain and your spinal cord. And what's really interesting, Dr. Bob, and especially right now with stress and everything else going on, so many people today, they have this forward posture.
They're like that.
Now, how many of you right now, you're watching us online, and for yourself, you look at your posture? Maybe you don't look at your posture, but I want to encourage you right now, start looking at people's posture. And do you have a tendency to slouch? That's one of the biggest things that we're seeing with our students and our kids right now, whether they're in sports or they have heavy backpacks. Literally every inch your head goes forward is one bowling ball of pressure on your spinal cord.
That's crazy, isn't it?
We take images, we take x-rays of the spine, and we can actually evaluate how your spine's moving or not moving. So if you've never had your spine evaluated through x-rays, through films, I encourage you, schedule an appointment, especially if you have young kids. Your spine is not completely grown until you're 22.
You know, the real issue, I think, is this screen time. When people come into the office, I actually asked one young man the other day, how long can you go without looking at your phone? And they can't. It's just unbelievable. So that's a challenge to you. See if you could go 15 minutes without looking at your phone. So think of us as your chiropractors. It's kind of like going to the auto mechanic. I explained it to someone today. We did an assessment to them. It's like going to the auto mechanic, and they put them up on the rack and they look underneath to see how they're doing. So we do assessments. We go through a series of adjustments, and then we assess to see how you're doing. So I'm going to ask you a trick question. Does gravity ever take a vacation? Gravity is continuously and relentlessly pushing down on top of you. And we live in Northern Ohio. I know some of you could be watching us from anywhere in the world, but we have something called chuck holes. A chuck hole is when you're driving along and you go into a hole. So there's chuck holes of your life. And so what we do in our office, we take care of all of those little incidents that you have. So we have...
It's amazing. I'm laughing right now, Dr. Bob, because some of you at home, you might have people literally trying to jump on your back and it feels good. I wouldn't suggest that. Come on in and get a proper evaluation with x-rays so we can help you with that.
And tell us the truth that someone did do that to you. Right? Okay, what's the next thing?
Okay, Dr. Bob, what do you have here? This is real overall. This is an example of what's going on right now. And we talk about the spine, but I also want you to consider, what did you eat today?
That's right.
I want you to think about, what did you eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner? What do you have planned for this week? Whenever you're watching us, for your kids and your family, what have you prepped already for this week for that fuel in your body? It's literally like you're filling up your rocket ship.
That's exactly right. You know, what's kind of interesting is that most people eat between 12 and 15 foods. And this individual right here, every night they had a shot of espresso with heavy cream and sugar-free vanilla syrup. You can see it. Every night they had that. And so then also, so we're not here to say what food is a good or a bad food, but there's something called a nightshade. Tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, and green pepper. I'm not saying they're good or bad, but there's some people that have issues with nightshades. And you can see I have circled, Dr. C, that they had potatoes every day. Now I'm going to share one little thought with you right here, because food is important, and this is not a nutrition class, but there's something called gluten-free food. I don't eat gluten-free food. I eat food that I know does not have gluten in it. So this person had gluten-free food. You can see all the circles every day. One of the items that's in gluten-free food happens to be potato starch. So we could talk about a lot of other different things. We just want you to be aware of food. And I know that Dr. Casen is someone that came in recently, and her diet looked...
I looked at it and she said, Dr. Casen, it was a bad week. And I thought, I hear that often.
Every day.
And I said, what do you mean by a bad week? So believe it or not, and I know this is none of you at home, she had ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I've never seen that before, Dr. Bob. I'm really serious. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, no fresh food, no green vegetables, fast food. She is on the go a lot, so she said to me when I showed her the anti-inflammatory sheet, Dr. Bob, that we use, and you want to focus on proteins and vegetables, she said, that's really hard.
We had a young teenager, the same thing. You have to eat food that's alive. Sometime during the day, you have to eat something that's living, because you don't realize processed food means they took all the living out, so that your body has to figure out what to do with processed food. And it literally will rob minerals from your bones, protein from your muscles to help fuel the system. So be aware of what you're eating.
It's all connected. And Dr. Bob, why don't you talk about the liver?
Well, the liver is such a key organ, and we do breast thermography in the office, and the breasts drain into the armpits, which drain into the liver. So we know that if a woman has congestion in the armpit area, they have potential to have some liver distress, also compounding that. We know that the liver is the main filter in the body. But Dr. Casen, I wrote a book on preventing surgery. And one of the chapters in there is about spinal surgery. And I talk about the liver. We literally see the liver go down to a person's pelvis. So if you have a liver that's not functioning optimally, it can cause back pain. Ladies, do you have tender breast, heavy menses? Body signal that your liver might not be functioning optimally. And gentlemen, if you're having any kind of prostate issue, your liver has to process estrogen for you also. So the liver is just one of many, many organs in the body that can impact individual health.
And what's really interesting as we're talking about prevention, and I was thinking about this today, Dr. Bob, as we were reviewing some of these breast thermography results, it's such an illusion for you if you have low risk at something, or if you're going to get your blood test done once a year. Think of how much can happen in your life, whether it's a change overall in your responsibilities, stress, activities, foods. Over time, those factors can contribute to other things, which could be a compromised immune system, low energy, brain fog, mental health, Dr. Bob. It's all connected. So whether it's ourselves or someone else in your life, you really want to have a consistent wellness strategy with chiropractic, with nutrition, breast thermography, something that you're continually working on these habits, because it does not happen overnight, and you can't expect to be happy and healthy long term if you're not really working on these habits overall, Dr. Bob.
And I know every day we hear people say, I slipped and I did this, that, and the other, and we understand that. But when it becomes a part of the normal, it's going to cause some health challenges.
Yes.
So why don't you give them some final thoughts, Dr. Casen?
So number one, look at your posture. Check out to see how your body's functioning on the inside. I know Dr. Bob and I talked about food choices. So start looking at what are you preparing this week for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if you need tips, go ahead and look at our YouTube channels and our social media. I know we have different recipes, Dr. Bob. And lastly, in regards to your liver health, if you do have these body signals, consider scheduling an appointment in our office, or look us up online on druglessdoctor.com on our global website.
Thank you so much.
You'll be glad that you did.
Bye.
Bye.